Welcome to UND Sports Extra. I'm your host, Dan Hammer. On tonight's show, we close the season on the North Dakota women's basketball team. It competed in the Women's Basketball Invitational last week. Head coach Travis Brewster joins us momentarily as we take a look at the highlights from North Dakota's game against New Mexico and a season wrap on the 2014-15 campaign. Also coming up tonight on the show, we'll give you an update on the UND indoor practice facility, which is getting very near completion. And we'll also introduce you to a North Dakota freshman sprinter who is already rewriting the UND track and field record books. Our leadoff man is women's basketball coach Travis Brewster, and you're not preparing for a game this week. That's got to feel a little different.
A little bit lost, you
Yeah.
know, really, truthfully, just a little bit lost. Trying to make sure that I keep myself busy with some other things that we're doing at this time of the year, but it's different.
Transitioning to the off season.
Yep.
Which for a competitive guy is difficult.
Yeah, I don't really have an off season, I guess,
Right.
so to speak. It's one of those things. I know there's enough for us to do to get ourselves better for next season, but it'll be okay.
17-15 is what you close on the season after your loss to New Mexico last week in the WBI opening round. And as we take a look at the highlights here, Coach, you're getting some defense inside with the block shot here earlier in the basketball game.
Yeah, I thought we did a good job. We adjusted and put it in the zone for this particular game, and I thought we did a good job of just keeping the ball in front of us and getting hands and touches on them. So, you know, that was the thing that kept us in the ball game.
Down by 9 at the half. In the second half, here you go now. You're going to make this thing a game towards the end of the game. But earlier in the second half, Emily Evers, then Maya Lloyd. What do you think about your team offensively executing in the second half?
You know, I thought we did a pretty good job. We were a little beat up and everything, but I thought we did a great job of just trying to find each other, get easy scores. There's a great shot by Megan Lauk, who got her 1,000th point in that game.
Right. Maya Lloyd then didn't have a huge game scoring, but she did have a good mini run in the portions of the second half.
Yeah, I thought she gave us a good spark there. She kind of got herself going here late and really attacked them and got us some key buckets.
You cut a 13-point deficit as Lloyd gets you within 9, and then a little while later down by 11, and Lloyd gets you within 9 again. And New Mexico, though, was able to maintain a double-digit lead until very late in the second half.
Yeah, you know, they're a fast team. You know, they get up and down the floor well, and anytime there's a miscue on the floor, they're going to go down and try to get an easy score.
One last run for your team, or the final 2.5 minutes here.
Yeah, it was exciting. You know, we got after it there. We started putting the ball in the hole, and they got a little tight, and we got a little bit looser.
Emily Evers off the nice dish, and you're within 7. Then with a minute to go, Suri Burke hits this 3. You're within 4, and you're closing the gap here.
Yeah, it's a big 3 for her to end her career on. This is a great drive by Megan here to get the and one. You know, gives a nice little English off the glass and drops in, and now we're excited. We're giving ourselves an opportunity there. Yeah,
that was with 38 seconds left. You got within 1 at that point, and yet New Mexico holds you off 54-51, the final there. So you finish the season at 17-15. Did this team meet your expectations? As you sat down and looked at the season at the beginning of the year, did this team meet those expectations?
You know, I think that for our team, what we accomplished was good. But I had a little bit higher of expectation for us, and so did they. And that's where we get our expectations from. They wanted to take care of business, have another opportunity to repeat. You know, and it's always tougher the second time through. I thought we showed some resiliency throughout the rest of the season there. But, you know, you always want to go out on top.
Coach, what were some of the differences between winning some of the games down the stretch this season and not winning those games?
You know, I think a big one for us is obviously making some free throws. You look at that last game, we didn't shoot particularly well from the free throw line.
3 of 12 in the second half against New Mexico.
We've been pretty steady there all year long. I think the other big thing for us, our rebounding fell off a little bit. That's been kind of a staple for us. And when you get more rebounds, therefore, if you have miscues, you know, that balances out a little bit. And we didn't have that high rebounding edge like we were accustomed to. But you know, I think there's a couple of things that we can clean up offensively. They're going to give us a chance, and defensively as well. One of the big things, though, is we just got to move the basketball and get to better scoring slots on the floor.
All right, let's look to the future.
Yep.
You have 6 incoming freshmen in this year's recruiting class. How many and who would you say is college ready to step on the floor at the beginning of next season and help your team?
Well, the only way we're going to know if they're college ready is when we get them here on campus and start practicing.
You have an idea, though.
Yeah, you want them all to be. I think you look at Olivia Haas, who has a great frame on her, great size at 6'3". You look at Lexi Clabo, who's done a tremendous job down in Fargo. You look at her ability to score, and then you look at a Fowler Frigi, for example, who's very tenacious on both ends of the floor. You got a Kanani Sunshine coming in from Rochester, very much built like Leah Zablar.
5'11" guard.
Yep, built like Leah Zablar already. We got Jill Morton, who's a very good scorer. And then you turn around, you got the local product from Crookston that's going to do a nice job for us, Sydney Boyk. But we got to look at how we're going to mesh together. That's going to be a big one for us. And I think the other big thing for us right now, too, is who can pick up the concepts that we're doing.
Mm-hmm. How about the post position, the center position? Because it changed from last year to this year. It will change again now with the departure of Emily Evers. How does that affect what you want to do?
It affects us. We'll just be a little bit less experienced at that position. I really think that we can get our players geared up to play. Obviously, we'll have some younger players playing with some veterans, and that's going to be part of it. But the offense that we run is very much based on sharing the basketball, and that's why we had a lot of success last year, and that's why we got to get back to that concept again this year.
What will be your themes and the tones that you'll set with your team into the off season?
Well, the big one for us, we've got to get after in the weight room. The other part's going to be mental toughness. The other part is actually working together while we're on the floor. Even when the coaches aren't there, we got to play a little bit more pickup, in my opinion. We got to get after a little bit more in the shooting part on their own and things like that. All
right, Coach, thank you for your time all season long. Been fun following your team, and thanks for your time weekly here on UND Sports Extra.
Appreciate it.
Coming up next, we'll introduce you to a North Dakota sprinter who's having a great spring and an update on the new North Dakota indoor practice facility.
UND Sports Extra on Midco Sports Network is presented by the University of North Dakota.
She's been on campus for only a few months, but she's breaking records that have been on the books for more than 30 years. Natasha Brown is sprinting past her competition at a rate that's never been seen before at UND. Greg Ankers has her story.
When I recruited her, I knew she was talented, and I was sure she was going to run fast. I just didn't know she was going to run this fast this soon.
Those are the words of UND track and field coach Kevin Galbraith on freshman phenom Natasha Brown.
She had an excellent coach. Her club coach is Antoine Bomasso. He was a Canadian Olympian, and so he really knows sprinting. And he gave Natasha a really strong foundation of mechanics and preparation. And I was able to just come in and build on that.
Natasha comes to UND by way of Edmonton, Alberta. And in her short time here, she's already rewritten the record books over and over again.
I feel like I've tried to stay mentally focused with every competition we've had. I've set goals this year, and my goal was to run a 7.5, and I did that. And for the 200, it was kind of just to see where I could go, just run faster than I did last year.
In the span of just a couple months, Natasha has broken the 60-meter school record 4 times. And recently at the Big Sky Indoor Championships, she set a new mark in the 200 indoor as well. The early success has been a little bit of a surprise for both athlete and coach.
I would say more for the 60, I expected to run at least a 7.5 high. So 7.53 was kind of a surprise for me, and I was really happy with it, but the 200 was just kind of out of nowhere.
Like I said, I knew she was going to run fast. I just didn't know she was going to go hit these times this year. You always hope for the best, but you don't always get your first hopes or your times that you want in your first year. Sometimes it'll take a year or two to get somebody, but she was ready to go fast, so she just decided she was going to do it, and she did.
Natasha is now setting her sights on the outdoor season, an area she believes she can also leave her mark on as well.
I think I'll just go about it the same way I did for indoor, kind of a reset for, I feel like, more so the 100, just because I haven't really been running that. But for the 2, I want to just continue running 23, seeing as my indoor time is now faster than my outdoor time, so I kind of just want to hopefully hit 23s outdoor.
And if the trend continues, Natasha may one day be living out her lifelong goal.
My ultimate goal is to make it to the Olympics, so I'm kind of just training to hopefully be there one day, so just kind of the path that I want to be headed on.
But for now, she'll continue to make her run at the record books here at UND.
Brown's primary sport growing up was basketball, but a Canadian rule at the middle school level mandates that students get involved in multi-sports. She turned to track. She loves it, even though she's only been running since 9th grade. Coming up next, we'll update you on North Dakota's new indoor practice facility.
UND Sports Extra on Midco Sports Network is presented by the University of North Dakota.
Welcome back to UND Sports Extra. We return to the construction site of the High Performance Center here on the campus of the University of North Dakota. We were here a couple months ago, back to check in again here with Athletic Director Brian Faison, kind enough to take a couple minutes. Brian, good to be back with you here on location. It's been a couple months since we've been here. The last time we were here was mid-January, and the building was almost fully enclosed at that time. What has taken place over the last couple of months?
Well, you can hear it. It's the sound of progress, that's for sure. Now they're in the process now of doing the surface work inside. Surface temperature needs to be at a certain degree for the concrete work and eventually the track surface in the football field. So they're doing this in parts, and as you can see in the background, you've got a big screen that protects this area from the temperature from the next area and the next area. And I think we're looking at about a third of the area right now that's being worked on pretty aggressively in terms of cement work. And once this thing gets done, then they'll move to the next, and then they'll move to the next. The nice thing is the roof work is back on schedule, in fact a little bit ahead of schedule, and that helps seal off on the upper end, so this becomes an even more controlled environment for temperature. And right now temperature is the issue for them to do the surface work that they need to do.
What is the current timeline for the point where you guys will take over the keys to the facility?
We're still looking at August 1st for a complete takeover of the facility, and that would be fine. Our big concern is to make sure we're able to be in here and fully functional in mid-October when the weather outside becomes an issue for football and certainly for track and field. So August 1 seems to be holding up right now.
Now it is remarkable. If for those watching, if you can see the people working behind us, as you mentioned, this is just 1/3. So this is a very massive facility.
Right.
And we are actually right now standing at ground level. A lot of the work is below us right now. Take us through the background of the architectural design for that reason.
It's about a 10-foot differential when you come in at ground level to the floor of competition. Interestingly enough, it was a little more economical because you didn't have as much construction issues going below ground as you did if you built up. So that was part of it, but it's also it's a security situation, safety situation for the athletes. A lot easier to run meets in here in a controlled environment where you can really control access to the field. And then the last thing is, quite frankly, it's the wow effect. When you walk in here, it's going to be impressive. Not just the size of it, but the fact the way it's laid out. So those were all factors in the decision to go this route.
And on top of that, there are several key, unique components of this facility. Remind our viewers, if you would, some of the unique aspects that are going to be a part of this venue when it's all said and done.
Well, first thing is you have an 8-lane, 300-meter track. There's only a few of those in the country, and times on the 8-lane, 300-meter track qualify you for indoor nationals. So it's going to be a heck of an inducement for track programs to come in and run here, quite frankly, during the indoor season in particular. The track surface that's going to go down, right now there are only going to be 2 of those in the world. The other track surface is in Brazil for the Olympic Games. So it's going to be an exceptionally quality track surface. And then you've got a full 100-yard football field that's going to go in. You've got full throw and jump areas for track, and you've got a full lineman area where they can do lineman drills off the main field. So it's going to be truly multitask, multi-use type of situation.
Very impressive indeed. Brian, we've touched on where the project is currently at as far as the construction process goes. What are the big things that are going to be happening over the next couple months with the construction progress?
Well, obviously completion of the surface work is critical mass, and that's a combination of 2 different types of surfaces eventually. Once that's done, then they'll start laying the track surface. They'll put in the football field surface. And And so at that juncture, it'll really take shape in a different form, much more recognizable, I think, to the fans. Still have some issues to deal with the throws. We have to put in some netting for safety purposes. But it's, you know, an 8-lane, 300-meter track and a 100-yard football field with full throw and jump areas and a full lineman's area for them to work out off of the main field. It's going to be something else.
An impressive facility indeed. It will be opening next fall for sure. Teams will be able to take advantage of it. Tremendous facility for the University of North Dakota. Brian, we thank you for your time, and we look forward to seeing the completed work here in the coming months. Dan Hammer will be back in studio next here on UND Sports Extra.
UND Sports Extra on Midco Sports Network is presented by the University of North Dakota.
Welcome back. We're happy to be joined by Val Sussex, the Associate Director of the North Dakota Champions Club. Val, good chatting with you again. Good seeing you again. Busy week in the office.
Yeah,
North Dakota
sure
is hosting the NCAA West Regional Hockey Tournament at Shields Arena in Fargo. What's the week been like?
It's been busy. You know, there's a lot of buzz around the West region, and everybody wants tickets. And unfortunately, all the tickets that the Champions Club had, we sold off in October.
Sure.
So those lucky Champions Club members that were early and on the ball have tickets, and they're all set to go. And I know people want tickets, and I saw some of the prices on Craigslist that can get dangerous.
Yeah, they're getting very high. What would you tell anyone who, at this point, here on Tuesday night, is still looking for tickets?
Oh, gosh.
Good luck?
Good luck would probably be the best thing, but we are having that pregame party at the Gastropub right down the road from Shields Arena prior to the game.
Yeah.
And stranger things have happened. If UND fans come to a pregame party and extra tickets are floating around, you never know what could happen. So I just think come to the pregame party, enjoy the game. They have a ton of TVs at the Fargo Billiards and Gastropub, and it'll be a great atmosphere to watch the game if you don't have a ticket.
That's really a good tip, actually. And what time do the pregame events begin on Friday? And if North Dakota wins Friday, then again on Saturday?
We always start 3 hours prior to the game. And so on Friday, we're at 4 p.m. with a 7 o'clock puck drop. And then if we're fortunate enough to be there Saturday, 8 p.m. puck drop, 5 p.m. pregame party. And I think I could only assume that St. Cloud or Michigan Tech, whomever loses, they're going to have some tickets left. So there may be something there Saturday.
Yeah.
So that's always something to shoot for.
Sounds good. Another fun day coming up will be April 25th. It'll be the annual spring football game at Memorial Stadium. And then later that day, the Champions Ball, which is a huge fundraising event for scholarships at the University of North Dakota, an event that takes place every other year. And I know you're really excited about this year's event.
I am. We have some great sponsors. We have a great auctioneer. We have a great MC for the event this year. So we are really looking forward to a fresh, new, exciting Champions Ball.
Right. Give us a basic 101 of what the Champions Ball is.
Champions Ball is our biggest fundraising opportunity to raise money for student-athlete scholarships. Every other year, we host this fundraiser. All the money raised goes to scholarships for student-athletes. Our goal this year is $150,000 just to go straight to the scholarship fund at UND. An internal goal, I think, would be 1,000 guests. That would be a hoot because we are on the
Holy smokes.
Inside the Alaris Center on the arena floor. So there's space for thousands. So if we could get to 1,000, that would be awesome. But maybe 800 is a more realistic goal. But yeah, we're really excited.
Silent auction, live auction, great music this year by a band by the name of Power of 10 out of Minneapolis, St. Paul. A couple of items I think we should pass along to our viewers. One is a bubble hockey game in which Dean Blaze and Doug Woog had a hand in, right?
They sure did. They played it at center ice, and I'm not sure what the scope of was it, but they were down there, and one of the teams is painted green and white, and the other is maroon and gold, and they were down there battling, and they signed the game, and it's pretty awesome. The Ralph Engelstad Arena has had it for a number of years, kind of keeping it for us, and they have donated it to the ball, so we're pretty excited for that one.
That's going to draw a lot of action.
It will. It will. Yeah.
Usepa Island.
I've
never been there. I'd like to go there.
I'm assuming
someone is going to go there.
Oh, yes. Someone's going to go there for, I think it's 7 days, 6 nights, 7 days. It's going to be warm. It's going to be fun. All those warm destinations. I think there's a Mexico trip, a Palm Island resort trip, and then a villa in the Grand Cayman. That sounds fun to me. It's on like a 7-mile stretch of beach.
Oh, my.
Yeah. I've kind of got my eye on that one, but that might be a little out of my range.
All righty. If folks want tickets, how do they get in touch with you?
They can always call Carrie. She's doing all the ticketed. She's kind of our ticket guru at the Gretzky. Her number is 777-0122, or you can register online. It's pretty easy to register for the ball online, ndchampionsclub.com. Just go on there, enter credit card information. If you ever get stuck, you can always reach out to me, and I'm pretty good at helping. So.
All right, sounds good. April 25th at the Alara Center, the North Dakota Champions Ball. If you are a supporter of North Dakota athletics, we know many of you, all of you watching this program certainly are, then it's an event that you want to take part in on April 25th. It'll be fun.
Oh, it'll be so fun. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I've been dress shopping, so
there you go.
I can't wait. Are you wearing a tuxedo?
I haven't decided yet, actually. Yeah. I don't want to be overdressed, but I want to be appropriate.
Oh, tuxedo with bow tie would be great.
All right, I'll take your tip. Thanks, Val.
Thank you.
See you this weekend in Fargo.
Yes.
We're back with more next year on UND Sports Extra.
UND Sports Extra on Midco Sports Network is presented by the University of North Dakota.
Spring football begins Saturday at the University of North Dakota. Head coach Bubba Schweigert says spring football this year is all about building team identity. We'll take you to spring football next week on UND Sports Extra. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for North Dakota hockey with Dave Haxton.